Sabbath to one and all, and welcome to Marcus Gonzalez Network, where I try to do a little Bible study every Friday night. I hope you had a wonderful week, and I am looking at drinking out of your own cistern, and that is one of the Bible texts that I try to live my utmost best life, my life with. That is one of the texts that I try to live my life, and I've been married now for the better part of uh, about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years now. We married, and I am trying to maintain myself as a good husband. I mean, I'm not perfect by any means, but when you look at what is going on in society around us, you see that a lot of people are just going down the road of lasciviousness and so on. And this is getting a lot of us in a lot of problems. I forget to put up this thing to go on TikTok also. There's a good while now I haven't broadcast on TikTok. So as I have extra phones and the like, let's see if we can do something on TikTok tonight. Yeah, so we're looking at we're looking at current situations around us where we're seeing people getting themselves in compromising or allegedly compromising situations. And this thing can't go live here. This one's profile can't go live. Other profile could go live. Let's change up this thing so much. Right, forget that. Yeah, so we we have to be careful as Christian young people. You have to be careful. You have to be mindful of what is going on around us and what is happening in society. And a lot of people are about the fast life, about the party life, about living their life. That's what most young people say now. And we look at a quick clip of this situation here with this young lady and see what we can glean. Let's listen.
It is not a crime to take out a picture with somebody. It is not a crime to meet somebody. But yet still, people are already pronouncing me dead. I didn't sleep with anybody. It is not even my duty to come and tell y'all if I sleep with somebody or not. But since everybody's running with the narrative that I did, and that I already dead, and that I get AIDS, and that I's a loose girl, and that I's a freak, I am not a person that is there about the place doing those type of things. Who knows me knows that I am social. Yes, that is my persona. But besides that, I am not a person. Most people that know me personally, they know that I have a spouse. I don't have to post my spouse 1,000 times on the internet for people to see. And I also don't live my life according to society. I live my life to please me. But the fact that you guys are out there posting videos, oh, sorry for these women, oh, women like man with big chain, women like this, women like that. I work for everything I have. Everything I have.
Right. So you're getting a gist of the issues that we are dealing with tonight. And she has found herself in a firestorm on social media with regards to her situation. Right. I made a video on TikTok and I said that I feel sorry for her because she's obviously in pain, right? And she's in serious pain, she's in emotional pain. And all I could do is tell her what I know about from in the Bible. And this is what has basically inspired this study tonight. So we have to go now and look closely at some of the Bible texts we have here that you can get a closer, better understanding of what the Bible is saying to us. Therefore, shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So immediately you are realizing that we ought to be in a situation where we are not with this one and with that one. And in the video, she said she had a husband, right? In the video, she said she had a husband. And for her to be, you know, interacting with people at that level, that is not the correct situation to be in, right? And let's see what again the word of God is saying to us, because we have to live our life, we have to try to live our life as best as possible by the word of God. All right. So it also goes on to say that marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. So we are seeing here, if you are a whoremonger and an adulterer, God will judge you, right? And a lot of us in society at the moment, they seem to think that that is the way to go. You know, we don't want to settle with one person and have a family and develop our children and so on. We want to just leave one party or the other with the children, and then you all over the place palavering yourself and having a time. And society thinks that that is the normal way for a young person, 24, 25, 26, even up to 36. That is normal for them. You understand? But that is not normal. That is normal is what God wants for us. Right? That is what is that is not normal in the sight of God, right? For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and shall be joined to his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. So we see in where the Bible is making the point very clearly that two has become one. And if two is one, we can be up and down and all around, right? And God pronounced a blessing on such a union. He says, what therefore God had joined together, let no man put asunder. And these are very, very serious statements that the Father is saying here to us tonight. What God has put together, let no man put asunder. So you can't just come and put yourself in a situation whereby it breaks up your marriage. You have to be strong in your mind and your heart to be able not to put yourself in that type of situation. Right? It also goes on to say, but no, ye also put off all those anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. And this is sometimes where it starts. You see? This is sometimes where it starts. It starts with all kind of filthy communication. You lie down in your bed in the night and you're texting this person, right? And you feel you're smart, unbeknownst to your husband, and you're texting away, and you getting all sort of feelings and so on, because you are communicating. And if you watch this video here, she is saying in the video, she is saying her spouse does not want her to be too much on social media, right? He says it clearly, right? So the spouse had his reservations already, right? The husband already had his reservations. And when you look at her video, if you were to go back, she said she talked
Like
about
this, women
husband.
like that. I work for everything I have. Everything I have, I work for me. But the fact that you guys are out there posting videos, oh, sorry for these women, oh, women like man with big chain, women like this, women like that. I work for everything I have. Everything I have, I work for it. I've been working for it since I left school. I put myself through UG. I have a good job. I have 2 children. I work for myself. Nobody don't give me nothing out here on this internet. But yet still y'all here ready to ridicule and run me down.
Right? So this is the current situation. She's in a lot of pain and hurt because we don't know the truth, but the mere fact that you saw somebody there on the phone with her, that is not her husband. And she's having communication with somebody that is not her husband. And some would say that she's probably reacting like that because everything now is out in the open. You understand? But if you follow what the Bible says, right? When you follow what the Bible says, okay? When you follow what the Bible says, then You put yourself in a more safe situation. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whosoever a man, whatsoever a man sweat, that he also reap. So this Gabriel guy now is going about saying that he is exposing women for what they are. And everybody, I was angry at the guy, you put yourself with all these girls and then you reveal certain things about them, which is wrong. And that's why he was probably arrested. But at the same time, when you sit down and think about it, you say, does this guy have some sort of a point? Is it that the whole norm in society now is to step out on your significant other? This lady has 2 children and a husband. She's married before God. And one of the first texts I read here is don't let nobody mash up your living. Right? And two becoming one and all of that. And she is liming. She's going on girls' night out. It seems like she does that regularly. And it is of no consequence. They don't seem to have an issue with it. And she may be featured in the video, but some of our brethren no different. Eh? Some of our brethren is no different. Some of the brothers does the same thing and worse. You understand? So it is on both sides of the divide. People are just behaving rotten and causing hurt and pain and frustration to the people in society. But we have to remember, whatever you sow, you will reap. Because if you live in a particular type of lifestyle, and she would not have gone from 0 to 100 just like that. In other words, she may have done something like that before. She saw some guy. The guy is good looking. The guy seemed to have everything put together. Nice car, nice chain. Everybody like this guy, and you're lusting after the man or the woman, and you put yourself in a position. But this guy now, he is a wicked guy because he put out certain information. After she denied it, he put out certain information. And this is what everybody is blazing her for, because everybody has seen her picture in a compromising situation after she denied it. So this is why, my friends, you have to flee the very appearance of evil, flee youthful lust, flee fornication. That's why it's saying 1 Corinthians 6:18. 1 Corinthians 6:18 says, flee fornication, full stop. Every sin that man doeth is without the body, but he committed fornication, sin against his own body. You understand? So we are running hither to the onion, right? We are running hither to the onion, and we are not understanding what we are doing when we get ourselves in these compromising situations. Right? The Bible tells you, flee fornication, run from it, run fast. Right? Here's what Proverbs 5:3 says. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. You hear? So sometimes these women come around, or men come around, and their lips are smoother than oil. Right? What it says here? The woman drop as a honeycomb. So the woman sweet, the man sweet, and the mouth smoother than oil. That's what the book of Proverbs say. So sometimes a woman will come and flatter her eyelids at you and try to weaken you for you to step out on your wife. Right? You have to be strong. Right? You have to put yourself in a position where you make up your mind not to step out on your wife, because the temptation is real. Right? The next verse says, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. So this is what will happen. And this is what the young lady is probably experiencing now, where she put herself in a situation, she lost it, whatever, she liked the guy, whatever, and the husband let her wrong. She out there with the girlfriends and so on. The girlfriends urge her to get in contact with this gentleman. and she got in contact with him, did whatever they did, if they did or if they didn't do, whatever, however it happened, she was away from her husband. Right? She was away from her husband. And that caused her a lot of pain and trepidation. Right? So if you put the back up to verse 3, it says, for the lips of a strange man or woman drop as honeycomb, and his or her mouth is smoother than oil. Right? But the end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. And what does verse 5 says? Her feet go down to death, her steps take hold on hell. So this is the situation some of us will find ourselves in when we are not faithful to our various respective spouses. All right? This is what happens when you are not faithful to your various spouses. Let's take care of.
There are videos with the women them that he had sex with. Everybody claiming, oh, she. I even hear yesterday that a person look at that video, because there's 3 video with one specific girl, and everybody are saying that is me. Well, I show y'all. I never.
All of this could have been avoided had she been faithful to her husband and not be out there frolicking. Right? I don't know how things happen. I don't know what happened. I'm not here to judge. We are just presenting the situation where she is in a difficult situation. She's under a lot of stress. She's hurting. And what I'm saying is, Eve left the side of Adam and then was tempted by Satan. Women out here these days, if you stay with your husband and don't put yourself in situations where things can happen, you will be much better off. That's the point I'm making tonight. Stay faithful, husband. Stay faithful to your wife. Stop home in your house. Help your wife wash the wares, mop the place. She alone can do everything. Cook some food for your children. Right? Help her wash the clothes. That's being a man. Not a mama man. That's being a man. Right? To assist your wife. Bond with your wife while you all are cooking. Right? Sometimes you'll be tired and you work and then you come and do this and that, but she tired too. You understand? She's also tired. Right? And some of us may not go down the path of physically getting ourselves involved with another man or another woman while we're in holy matrimony. But many of us does what they say in Matthew 5:28 here. Right? But I say unto you that whosoever looketh upon a man or a woman to lust after him or her had committed adultery with him or her already in his or her heart. You understand, my friends? So we have to be careful, because God don't play around. A lot of us are lusting after women and so on in our hearts. Right? I can tell you, I'm probably guilty of it too. We have to stop that. We have to work to come to a situation where we stop that. Honor our wives. When you're driving along the way with your wife, you play smart and coy and say, babe, look at that woman, she's sexy, yeah? When it is really you want to watch the woman. And sometimes the women do the same thing. Honey, look at that guy there. Isn't he strong? He's a big, strong guy. And it's your wife lusting after another man. So we have to get ourselves in a position where we are not lusting after people, because Jesus Christ said in his word in Matthew, I just read it in Matthew 28, you are lusting, you are committing fornication in your heart. That's in your mind. Right? And sometimes, some of us, I am probably guilty of it too. Right? Sometimes we are making love to our wife. And because we saw a woman down the road earlier in the day, we get excited while we make love to our wife. That is what has happened. So when we went to marriage counseling, Pastor Tobias spoke about that. And he said that is a very dangerous practice. Right? And what that will lead to is if you only get an opportunity, you may just seize on the opportunity and then eventually the mark boss, like what happened with this young lady there, eventually the mark boss and your family and you in problems. Right? And next thing the mark boss and you and your wife in problems. And look at this child condition here now.
I'm fed up for it. Every day I can't eat, I can't sleep. If I ring my phone every minute, I'm tired. I'm tired. I can't.
You see that? She is almost at the stage of a mental breakdown because she have some photos posted with a young man that is not her husband. All of that could have been avoided, my friends. All of that could have been avoided. But you know, when we soak up media and TV and everything, this seems to be the norm to have a side chick, to have a side piece, to have a snack, right? This seems to be the norm. But the Bible calls it lasciviousness, right? I didn't pull that text, but I'll pull it before we leave, right? In Galatians chapter 5. And when you look up at the meaning of lasciviousness, it means open, open display of extra sexual tendencies, and you're not ashamed you're not hiding it. That's what lasciviousness means. I'll pull the meaning for you just now again. Right? Let me pull it up here one time. I was doing some studies earlier this week, and I said, I had an idea of what lasciviousness means, but I said, let me get the correct meaning. And sometimes we are just too we are just too much in the world. And Jesus is coming just now, my friends. Lasciviousness meaning unrestrained, wanton, or filthy behavior. Right? Unrestrained. And this give me a different thing here. But let's see what else it have here. Where everything is sex, sex, sex. And my wife just complain. She says, tell me I like too much sex. I said, but you is my wife. But I don't look run so and run so. One time I was out working. A lady flagged me down by a corner. So she got into the car and she said, you want some sex for money? I said, excuse me? I said, what do you mean? No, to have sex, to have sex. And it was straightforward, no beating on the bush. And I watch this one, so I watch this, I watch up, I watch down. I said, sweetheart, I have a wife, you know. She said, what, so what I mean? I said, I have a wife, I not come in and go with you, I don't know you from anywhere. And this text just jumps straight back in my mind. This text here just jumps straight back in my, I came home one time, I told my wife. And my wife said, well, they should have go with you. I said, me? This text here came straight back into my mind. Drink water out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. So, if you have your own well and you have good, clean water there, where you going to drain to drink water for? Where all kind of thing come in there. Some of these ladies out here that selling the bodies, all kind of man. That's why I was never attracted to the Spanish people in this country. Even before my wife, I might get married to my wife, I used to be doing something called Uber and TTRS and so on. And sometimes you pick up the prostitutes and you see their husbands and boyfriends and so on, kiss them goodbye, and they're going to sell their bodies, right? And then sometimes you pick up guys and the guy is so happy. I say, what one day, boy? This one real good, and give me all the details of what just transpired, right? And they make the guys and them very happy. But any guy can be made happy for just $300, right? So why would you want to put yourself with something to the equivalent of a drain? I'm not saying that to degrade anybody, but that is what it is. That's what the Bible tells you it is. The Bible tells you frankly that if you go and put yourself with a prostitute, you're not drinking out of your own cistern. Look at it here again. You are not drinking out of your own cistern, my friend. God said, drink water out of thine own cistern and running waters out of thy own well. Right? Let thy fountains be displayed abroad and rivers of waters in the street. Right? Let them be only thine own and not strangers with thee. Right? Let thy fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. That is how you have to run it. You have to rejoice with the wife of your youth. You can't be hither to the neon with all different women all over this place and you feel you're doing something. No. Because at the end of the day, this same gentleman that mixed up himself with these girls in Guyana turned around and said he hate women because he too was probably hurt. And as the old saying goes, hurting people hurt people. You understand? Hurting people hurt people hurt people. Right? The Bible has also gone on to say, the Bible also goes on to say in 1 Corinthians 10:13 that hath no temptation take you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, right? Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will but with the temptation also make a way of escape that ye may be able to bear it. You hear, my friends? So when we are in a situation where we are tempted, God is faithful that He always makes a way of escape. And sometimes when I find myself in diverse temptation, I always stand still and say, Lord, where the way of escape? Lord, show me the way of escape. Sometimes we need to find the way of escape and we need to come out. You understand? So sometimes you are tempted to put yourself in certain compromising situations and you must always ask God, Lord, where is the way of escape? In the still moments, ask God, where is the way of escape? And God will show you the way of escape, my friends. God is faithful in that regard. He always makes a way of escape. It's up to you to yield to the temptation or actually to use the way of escape, right? And as I was just saying, sometimes we yield to the temptation, right? We see the temptation and we go into it more, right? Because this same video we are looking at here, she had said that she she um she blocked the guy. You understand? She said she had blocked the guy, right? And after she blocked the guy, she saw videos and so on, and then she went back and talked to him and said, what is this and what is that? You understand? So sometimes when you block somebody, you don't go back. You don't talk back to these people because you'll put you in problems. As you're seeing how much pain she's in here, she's crying, she's hurt. Her marriage may be in jeopardy. Her children, she may have to go to the courts now and fight for custody of her children. And a number of situations can happen when you find yourself in this kind of a situation where you are not um, where you are not in the right situation with your spouse. And these things can be very painful, not only for you, but also for your children. You understand? So this is why, again, we have to live our life in such a manner that we do not put ourselves in this kind of situations. Because some people could take jamming, but some people can't take corn at all. And they'll put you in the court. No matter if they're in the church or out of the church, they'll put you in the court. And then you have to pay what we commonly call in Trinidad cock tax. Yes. But what the word of God say here again? But every man is tempted when he is drawn away from his own lust and enticed. So sometimes we end up putting ourselves in some peculiar situations because we are drawn away, right? But what we have to do is we have to watch and pray that he enter not into temptation, right? The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. You understand? And in this instance, we'd have seen that um, the flesh was indeed weak. You understand? Because some women esteem a guy high because he has possessions and so on. And that can be very dangerous. You understand? Especially if you're in a situation where you are married, you should not put yourself in that type of a situation at all, at all, at all. You understand? We must not put ourselves in that position. We must always try to drink out of our own cistern, right? And we ought to, keep our hearts, keep thy heart, right, with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. You understand, my friends? We have to keep our hearts with all diligence, right? We have to keep our hearts. And unfortunately for this young lady, she is
I can't do it no more. I can't do it. Everywhere you turn somebody, oh, she. More important things happen in people's life. Some people need help for eat when they reach. But you're making it me. You're making it your personal business to put me out and make I look bad. I don't sleep around with people. I'm fed up already. It's like people don't even have a conscience that putting shit out there. Y'all knows how this messing with me. Then the so-called ex-friends, but all them in this and them in the. Y'all ain't like me. Y'all ain't like me. Y'all could never be like me.
So you see, my friends, to avoid all of this craziness, be faithful to your husband and your wife. Right? If you're going out and entertaining yourself, go out with your husband. Don't leave your husband and your wife's side and go there with friends and listen to what your friends say, because your friends will leave you and especially don't say that. The friends and them, they're not like she, and the friends change up. You have your husband, you have your children to see about, and now you're in problems. You understand? So we have to be careful. We have to be careful. So switching gears now, as we dealt with that situation, we did a wonderful Bible study with regards to some of the Bible texts that deal with this infidelity and so on, right? We will now take a brief look at some of the headlines that is coming out of Advent Messenger, right? And happy Sabbath to the person on Facebook that has tuned in, right? Happy Sabbath to you. There are a lot of headlines that is very, very interesting and timely, right? You have, for example, Catholic Eucharist celebrations are being planned for America's 250th anniversary in order to bring the nation under Christ's sovereignty, right? So the Catholics are fully behind America and is supporting America 110% with bringing everything back under under God. And remember, Ellen White stated the final events will be rapid one. Then I don't know if you ever heard about the Heritage Foundation, but the Heritage Foundation intensified calls for Sunday rest. So this is what the Adventists believe, what we believe in the Adventist faith, that eventually they will call for a national Sunday law, which is to say to have everyone rest on a uniform day of rest. And they have brought out a document. The same Heritage Foundation people have brought out a document requesting that we have a uniform day of rest. You understand? So these are very interesting times we are living in. Right? This is very, very interesting times we are living in. See, look at Mark here. Support for a uniform day of rest is zoning law allow a community to determine where one can operate certain businesses. Blue laws reflect that is since back in 1888, right? Reflect the local judgments as to when one can operate certain businesses. In the case of McGowan versus Maryland, 1961, the Supreme Court held by an 8-1 vote that Sunday closing laws that include the purpose of providing uniform day of rest are constitutional and can accommodate the fact that the majority of people who take a day of rest for religious reasons do so on Sunday. Massachusetts, for example, requires that every employer of labor engage in carrying on any manufacturing, mechanical, or mercantile establishment or workshop shall allow every person at least 24 consecutive hours of rest in every Sunday consecutive days. So the uniform day of rest is real. It is coming. The mark of the beast is coming up on us soon. And for those of you who are just tuning, if you don't know, the mark of the beast is Sunday worship because we are seeing it here. Right? America is going to the evangelicals in America, the Christian nationalists, right? They are going to call for a uniform day of rest. Look at back here again. A uniform day of rest that limits commercial activity can provide temporal boundaries that help communities to set aside time for religious observances, family gatherings, outdoor activities, and rest. A stable base of research show that these practices correlate with better mental health, stronger social bonds, and more stable family structure. And Trump and they are saying they want to restore the family. So we are seeing Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15 is coming to pass very, very quickly and very, very simply, right? So that is just a quick look at this headline. Heritage Foundation intensify its call for Sunday rest. Let's look at another article here on Advent Messenger, and I will advise you to go yourself and just type in adventmessenger.org and go on the website and read the amount of stories coming out there. Right? For example, North Carolina State Board of Elections rejects Sunday voting because that's the Lord's Day. And that's something from the Catholics when John said he was in the Spirit on the Lord's Day. But John, the Revelator in Revelation chapter 1, he was in the Spirit on the Sabbath day. Today, now, this period here, Sunset Friday to Sunset Saturday, John, who grew up in the time of Christ, he was not the cousin of Christ. That one got his head severed. But what the point I'm making is all those guys around that time period can be Sabbath. They were Jews. So they knew nothing about Sunday. Sunday only coming way back hundreds of years later. No apostle, no Bible character ever kept Sunday. None. From Genesis to Revelation, not one of them kept Sunday. And the Catholic Church come and change around this thing, just like what Satan did in the Garden of Eden. You shall not surely die. They said that is the Lord's day. When it's they're referring to, they're trying to say Sunday is the Lord's day. Sunday is not the Lord's day. Lord's day is the very blessed and hallowed. Go check it out in the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and chapter 2 and chapter 3. Go and read it there. You will see it there. Where he blessed and hallowed Sunday. Right? I mean Saturday. From Friday evening to Saturday evening. He never blessed and hallowed no Sunday, my friend. The first day of the week is the first day work. The first day of the week is Sunday. Days of the week are Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday is the seventh day of the week. Okay? So don't get it twisted. Right? Don't get it twisted. Everything is falling into place, and I've been saying this for a very long time, not me alone. A lot of other persons have been saying this for a very long time. All in India and all. Authorities in northeastern India order all restaurants, shops, and services closed on Sunday to allow people to attend church. Right? I'm just laying it out as it is, my friend. Right? Look, church and state combining here now. Watch it here again. Watch it here again. Another article again. Church and state. Texas moves to mandate Bible reading in public schools. So we are seeing the image of the beast being formed. It is happening right before our very eyes. Okay? Secular media say restore Sunday as a true Lord's Day before it's too late. Because you're talking about immorality and the morals of people have dropped so much, but all of that is by design. Look at another one here again. Kevin Roberts says the Heritage Foundation's new Saving America document has been well received by the Trump administration. And this document here is a document that talk about pardon me, about uniform day of rest and all of that, and the morality of America going down, and that they now want to promote the family structure in America by having everybody go to church on a Sunday, right? What is now evident is that the initiative to establish Sunday as a uniform day of rest is much further along than initially thought. The president of the Heritage Foundation, Kevin Roberts, has already actively participated in a formal public policy discussion related to the document Saving America by Saving the Family, a foundation for the next 250 years, with members of the US Congress and Trump's administration. The document outlines policy proposals aimed at preserving the family and calls for the restoration of a shared collective rhythm of rest by explicitly designating Sunday as the nationally recognized and civilly protected day. That stands out. What stands out, according to a recent interview published by the National Catholic Register, is that Roberts revealed that the document Saving America is primarily aimed at the US Congress, right? And that the document urges President Trump to implement it through executive orders. Sunday law is coming, my friend. The National Catholic Register published the following in January 12, 2026. Here we saying this, you know, the National Catholic Registry. And just in January, what today is? Today is February 6th. Just last month, they're saying the Heritage Foundation, led by former Wyoming Catholic College President Kevin Roberts. So here, Kevin Roberts is a big Catholic. Hey, release its proposals to support family life amid low marriage and birth rates. We believe, and this is in parentheses here, we believe that this first foray into family policy by Heritage will not only cause a really important national conversation, Roberts told reporters on January 12th, but one that also improved the discussion in the US Congress. Roberts said Heritage is pretty confident the Trump administration will amend, will, will be amenable to the policy proposals contained in the paper, stating that the good rhetoric from the administration, including the president himself, has signed that they understand that that this is a civilization problem. Roberts said conversation on Capitol Hill with members of both House and Senate have gone exceedingly well. See, my friends, the Heritage Foundation president also expressed hope that state eventually will seek to compete with one another in terms of their own policies for the most advantageous initiatives. Right? So these things are on its way. It's even at the door, my friends. It's even at the door. So we have to get ready and stay ready. It's not time for playing anymore. It's not time for playing. You see, we have to get ready and stay ready. This thing is coming quick and fast. You understand? It is coming rapid. So we have to be careful. If we're not ready now, when will we be ready? Right? When will we be ready? And we are seeing all of these things happening before us, in rapid succession. Right? Pope Leo to ecumenical leaders, we are one. Let's make it visible. So all the image you're seeing here is a picture of all the different religious groups, and the Catholic, the Pope is in the middle of this image here. You understand? And we see the Jew, the Christian, the Muslim, right? All the different faiths, all under the auspices of the Pope, right? Right? We are seeing all of these people around the Pope in this image here. And we have to be careful because the ecumenical movement is moving rapidly, and it is happening, my friends. They are all one. That is what they're saying. They are all one. You see? This is what they are saying to us, that they are all one. So when you see these things happening, my friends, you have to become a little bit concerned. You see? You have to become a little bit concerned because, well, not really concerned, you know. What you have to get is, you have to get happy. Because when you see these things, you have to look up. Because your redemption draweth nigh. Right? And then we see in here now, coming up very soon, in May, you see what they're saying here? One nation under God. Right? This is what they're saying here. One nation under God. From May the 24th to July the 5th. You see how many different places they're on in the eastern seaboard here? Portland, Boston, Fall River, Providence, Camden, Richmond, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Savannah, all the way down to St. Augustine, all the way down, man. Everybody involved in this national Eucharist pilgrimage. Yes, my friend, national Eucharist pilgrimage is what they are involved in at the moment. And this is what we are seeing happening here. We have to pay attention to what is going on around us, my friend. And this next image here is another story I would have read for you a little earlier on. Right? What is saying here? America needs a Sabbath Restore Sunday as a day of rest. Heritage Foundation intensifies call for Sunday rest. So we are seeing it happening before our very eyes, my friends. We are seeing it happening right before our very eyes. Right? It is there, it is happening. Right? It's happening, and last week I would have covered this issue here, where Trump was at the World Economic Forum and he was behaving bad at the World Economic Forum, and he put everybody in their place in that World Economic Forum. You see, he put everybody in their place. Everybody had a crawl and genuflex to Trump. So we're seeing where we are in the prophetic timeline, my friend. And before we close, there is this image here where they are talking about Restore Sunday before it is too late. Right? So these are the stories that we are seeing coming up on Advent Messenger. And we have to pay attention to it. And we have to get ourselves ready, because at any time now, we can find ourselves in a position where we are mandated to worship on a Sunday. And there's an image I think I saw on this same Advent meet. I think there's an image I saw. I saw an image where they showed you the three Hebrew boys. When we saw the three Hebrew boys standing and the rest of the world bowing down. But what they did, they used a caption, and they said the three Hebrew boys represent Adventists in this modern age, and the rest of the world bowing. And you see the golden image of the Pope. You understand? So this is where we are at, my friends, in terms of prophecy, of Bible prophecy. This is where we are at. So we have to watch and pray, and we have to get ready and stay ready, because the time is wrapping up. And once National Sunday Law is called, probation is going to close. Because at that point, who is holy, let him be holy still. Who is filthy, let him be filthy still. Probation is closed. And once probation is closed, you then will be exposed to the 7 last plagues. All right, my friends. So I think I would have said all that I need to say tonight. And I hope that these words and verses of scripture meet you blessed. Until next time, over and out for now. See you guys.